How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Comics Unbound with Dustin and LeChucker.
Hello.
Um, we're here on Friday night as usual. We're going to talk about some things and some wild shenanigans and comic books and all kinds of stuff. Um, but first off, I want to tell everybody how grateful I am for the response we've had to Theater 7 so far. It's been phenomenal. I mean, we're only like 600 and something dollars away from 10 grand and unlocking those additional pages, which is super, super cool. I know Devin's excited. We were just talking about the additional pages. We actually just sat down and we're doing layouts for those. So they're going to be absolutely phenomenal. Super, super funny stuff to me anyway. And I think Devin's great at making people laugh. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. You guys will get to see all kinds of cool shenanigans and stuff that Penny's going through. But I was blindsided this morning with the comic layoffs that happened in the industry this morning, Lee. I know you saw it too. I was really like blown away by the amount of folks that are suffering through the times right now in the industry. Um, and it's wild, man. It's really wild because to me, comic books are in our lifeblood. There are people in this world where it runs through our very veins, our very being. Since we were children, it's one of those things that have it grew with you. Comics have been in your lives since you can remember. As kids, as young adults, everything. I remember going through college, and I went to the day of school in Universal on the back lot, and I was with all these older cats that have been in film and art for so many years. There's only 20 people in this class, right? So you've got all these old cats, and I'm sitting there like almost 17 years old, with these guys that have been in this industry for 20, 30 years, but they're all there to learn new skills, right? So I'm sitting there, and what's going on, Shawnee? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I'm so into my studies and whatnot that I didn't have anything that I could do with these people. They weren't like my peers, because they were all so much older that they were all out drinking beers or chilling or doing things. And I was on my lunch break going to ride roller coasters in the theme park, you know what I mean? Or, going back to my grandma's house and working at the local movie theater for a couple hours a night, and so, comics again were there, in this time of no friendships, no camaraderie. Comic books were there, between my studies. It was, Aliens versus Predator at that time period. It's always been AVP for me. But at that time period, I was like, oh my gosh, the Todd McFarlane figures were just dropping from the very first AVP movie that came out. Now, McFarlane stuff was dropping before the NECA collectors and all that jazz. But I was hunting those things, man, and hunting those issues and all that I could get my hands on. And it was like, I just want to say that comics are very important for a lot of people. You know what I mean? They help people get through serious times. They help people get through their day to days. I know folks that reach out to me on the regular and are like jonesing to get their next issue from Ethereal. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel that. And I share that love and that passion with all of you. You know what I mean? Like, so when people in mass get laid off, it's a scary thing for the industry. But I'll say this: we're here. We're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? As hard as times get, we're okay. You know what I mean? And the fan base is incredible. Um, and I had a close friend of mine in the industry yesterday have a falling out on his own, and it was very sad for me to watch. Um, and I know it hit Lee personally as well. It was a very sad thing for us to see our friend go through something so shitty. But this industry, as warm, as welcoming as it is just like any other. It's hard. It's like a slough through like quicksand to get where you want to be at. And I think a lot of people can be proud of where they are and what they've accomplished. What's going on, John? John's a guy that can be proud of what he's accomplished. He's an incredible talent. Um, but there's a lot to see and a lot to learn when you first walk in here. All I'm saying is go in positive, but go in aware of the industry, when you come into it. Learn what you can beforehand. Reach out to the cats. Don't just reach out to cats that are making stuff, okay? I said this the other day, and it still holds true. Will hold true till I'm fucking dust. It will hold true. There's a million people that are creating things, and there's only so many people in the actual industry. Find the people in the industry. Ask them what you should do, how you should come up. Make friends with the people that are doing it and they're living the life. And, then figure out if you want to hop in or not. You know what I mean? I think it's a great idea and it's an amazing community, but you have to get into that community. You know what I mean? There are a shit ton of people that are going to tell you that they know what's up and they don't. They have zero clue. Reach out to the folks that live the life. Find out what you need to learn before you jump in there. Especially if you're an artist. Oh my gosh, it's so hard for artists because there's a billion of you guys. Look at Leigh. Leigh's incredibly talented. Not everybody breaks out like he does. That guy's got more work than he knows what the fuck to do with.
But work that I make of my own, mate, I grind away too. You know what I mean? It's like you're 100% right with what you said. That you do have to maintain a positivity. You have to certainly maintain a belief in yourself. And it's not being arrogant. You have to have a confidence, not a cockiness, because when you get cocky, you start, like becoming a dickhead, and no one likes dickheads. But you have to be confident with what you got. And and what you got is you. So what you put on paper, how you translate yourself into situations like this on, live streams and stuff like that, it all, it's a snowball effect. There are people out there that, sadly, like I guess are lions in sheep's clothing, like that. You do learn very early on. You do have to, I guess, sift through people. It's terrible to say that, but you have to find the gold, like in the mine. Like there's a lot of rock, but you do find gems and stones.
There's a shit ton of those. The brown
there's people that take advantage of you because you're nice and you do want to be, like you want to put your best foot forward. And those people will take advantage of you. You have to be aware. By no means should you stop your dreams or your goals, but you do have to I guess it's like sailing, mate. You got to navigate the waters because not everything's going to be calm, and every day can provide a new drama.
Well, it's happened to all of us at least once, right? Like it's happened to all of us at least once. You know what I mean?
At least once, man. It's definitely confirmed. It's happened to me once. If not a handful of times, but
twice. It's a very telling thing. But I just want people to know that if you were affected, or your family was affected by any of this shit that's happened recently, we're here. You know what I mean? Whether it's to shoot the shit, whether you got project ideas, whether you want to hang out, whether you just need a new friend in the industry, we're around. You know what I mean? We're around, and I think that's. I am very grateful because when I came into this, I had friends looking out for me. You know what I mean? I had really cool folks that were an ear for me if I needed it. And I realized that's not there for everyone. So I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean? If you need some help or feasible help, we're around. Leigh likes to talk to people. I like to talk to people. So we're more than happy to, shoot the shit with folks, talk about, we've been through what we've learned, to share a little bit of that knowledge, But speaking of learned and knowledge, which kind of go hand in hand, right? Bladen just did these badass shirts. I'll have to show them to you guys here shortly. For Vegas. So we've got Vegas in September, and we've got these exclusive shirts for the show that are going to be really, really cool looking. It's got like Maya on a stripper pole. You know, she had to be doing something dirty on one of my shirts. So the stripper pole, and it's the color of the show and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get there. Bladen's actually going to be at that show as well. So is Leigh Iris. She's going to be there too. We may see April. What's going on? Salutations. But there's just so much going on that we're very, very happy about. And you know, we've got right now, oh my gosh, we've just picked up a new writer. We're very excited about that. You know, we've just signed for 3 new IPs for next year. Like, holy shit. With their own teams and all kinds of other stuff. Currently, guys, if you know anybody that's doing that's looking for work, well, you know, of the caliber that we put out, if you know anybody that's looking for that kind of work in sequential pages, hit me up. You know, we're definitely looking for some folks right now. And that'll put us over 42 team members. And very, very excited about that. You know, like I mentioned, you have to find your people. Find your tribe. You know what I mean? Find your folks that are going to lift you up as well as you lift them up. And Ethereal would be nowhere without the folks that are constantly, you know, pushing beyond their means and, you know, even to better their own craft. You know what I mean? Like, not just, you know, doing their own thing. Yeah, Shawnee, Bladen's going to be there too. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I'm super excited to get to hang out with him. His wife's going to be there too for a little bit. My wife will be there too, so there's probably going to be all kinds of craziness going on. And then Leigh Iris' husband, Brandon, will be there. So there's going to be all kinds of folks, all kinds of sweet people, all great folks to hang out with. I know that the show is going to be rather large. You know, Steph Wilson and Carrie Ann will be there. So plenty of really, really cool people to hang out with and shoot the shit with.
And then everyone meets up at the ethereal roulette table, don't they?
Yeah, no, yeah. So I've never. So let's be real. I've never been to Vegas ever. I've never been on any kind of casino cruises or anything like that. Yes, ma'am, for sure. But there's this concept for me, like when we did Phoenix. April and I did that poker tournament in Phoenix. I suck at poker, like I fucking suck. I just wanted to support the cause. You know what I mean? It was a very, very cool cause. Teaching children to read. So it was a very, very cool place to throw money. If you're throwing money at something, throw it at something positive. Mm-hmm. But I've never been before, so I'm very, very excited. We're actually staying at the convention center, so it's not far from our room to set up and all that jazz. And but there's so many cool things to see. What's going on, Rob?
Spedsy.
Oh, Spedsy. Really, really good dude there. Speaking of another talented motherfucker, that guy right there is above and beyond.
100%.
So, but yeah, so we'll be checking out the nightlife, taking pictures, doing wild ethereal shit. So I know that everybody's going to be drawing a lot and bullshitting. We're supposed to be there a couple extra days, so we'll probably take pictures and shit for folks that have never seen anything like that.
Going to be going on the tourist scene and stuff,
yeah,
mate?
Well, you know, the thing about, from what I gather, the thing about Vegas is it's dead during the day. Like, it's
Well, it's the city of the night or something, isn't
it?
Doesn't it have that slogan?
Yeah, so it's like, so we're probably going to be staying up all night, sleeping during, you know, that extra day or so, and then it shows, you know, at the show the whole weekend. It's a 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I watched a documentary on Las Vegas not too long back, man. And
teach me.
There's like, well, I don't know if it's a positive side of Las Vegas, but there's an underground city, mate, where apparently there's upwards of 10,000 homeless people have created their own underground city in all of the drains and the stormwater area and stuff like that.
Right
and
on.
this documentarian went in with a security team because he didn't know what was happening there to check it out and see if it was real. And man, there's people in like little cabins with like 4-poster beds and TVs like mounted up on walls and stuff like that, and they're just chilling out down there doing their thing because I don't know why you do that, but maybe there's nowhere else to go. I don't know.
I didn't know that. I thought that was a joke because I actually saw people that were dressed, like nicely dressed, like climbing out of like a sewer drain one time on one of these videos, and I was like, shut up, that's just like a gag, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, man, there's a documentary, like check it out next time you have a look. I think it was just on YouTube, and this guy goes down, and mate, these people have got refrigerators, like it's like a little civilization down there. There's people like doing hydroponic gardening and stuff, like an aquaponics and things. It's like pretty insane down there,
Yeah, City of Lights and City of all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah, a bit like the Morlocks, mate, down there.
Oh, gosh. What? Oh, my gosh. You're a storm out when you need her, right? Like, what's up? Yeah. So, speaking of the X-Men, you're familiar with the Midnight Suns, right?
The Midnight Suns, that was that series back in the late 90s with like all the Ghost Rider and Morbius and Blade and all that. Nightstalker, I think Blade was at that point. I know. Yep, with Lilith.
They're releasing a video game called Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about it because I'm a big Venom fan, and apparently he gets taken over and is a villain at some point in this game. So I'm pretty pumped about checking it out. That's awesome.
Pretty much, Shawnee. Yeah, from what I saw, that's pretty much it. I wouldn't eat their hot dogs. So.
No. As long as you know how to use the 3 seashells, you'll be okay.
Those hot dogs might be closer to the old brown trout, mate, eh? But, No, I
don't want any of that nonsense.
No.
So, you got all this cool stuff going on right now with these different storylines and different, like I just went and, you've got, speaking of storylines and cool stuff, the Predator movie comes out next month. The new one on Hulu, which is run by
Disney.
Absolutely. So we were just talking about Disney, guys, a little bit ago. Disney's got their fingers in a lot more than people realize, especially other comic book companies than Marvel. So, but there's a lot to see and unpack with that. When you start going into everybody, I keep seeing this, fuck the mouse thing, and I'm like, as a kid, I loved all thing Disney, right? Everything Disney was awesome. You know what I mean? And I did a report, oh my gosh, at my second year of college on Walt Disney. I did a really nice paper about him. But there's all kinds of wild stuff that we don't realize. Absolutely, Shawnee, absolutely. But from weapons trading to all kinds of, oh my gosh, Disney's owns percentages of so many things, like I said, including other comic book companies. So we were just talking about the fact that they own a portion of Boom, and that's a scary thing. Okay, it's a very scary thing to let a company monopolize things, because if they decide, well, we're going to go over here, we're going to buy this. Okay, look at Discovery Channel bought Warner Brothers, right? So Discovery Channel bought Warner Brothers. Now they own all the DC stuff, and I think they own NetherRealm too, which is all the Mortal Kombat stuff because of the Disney affiliation with that. And I don't quote me on the NetherRealm stuff, but I'm fairly certain. But anyway, so you also have now Disney owning 20th Century Productions, which used to be 20th Century Fox. So what happens when they decide, well, now they want, they want to buy uh, the new DC stuff? Because that's been talked about in the past before. You know, there's been, oh my, when Amalgam came out, everybody blew up with that. Everybody blew up. Is DC gonna, or Marvel gonna buy DC? I don't think Marvel's gonna buy DC, but I think Disney may buy things in the future. You know what I mean? Because I think that comic books is an untapped resource that Marvel and DC have been eking on, and so is TMC with The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? And there were so many different things that came out, and people are starting to realize, holy shit, the comic book, movie, film industry is really, really big, and it just continues to be really big. But how do you stop other companies from aping off your film sales? You purchase them, and then you dissolve them, and you keep the things that you want to keep when you go to dissolve that stuff. Um, I'm not saying it's going to happen in our lifetime. I'm just saying I'd pay attention to my favorite comic companies that are larger. You know, if you look right now, not just us, not just Antarctic Press. There's a bunch of folks that do it, but if you look right now at Kickstarters, you're starting to see more and more of the larger companies on Kickstarter because it's the future. These companies. I don't use Indiegogo, but these companies like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and so on, what have you, are the future of comic books. Speaking of comic books and sending stuff, Shawnee should have books from us in the next day or so if she doesn't have them already. I just sent the listener stuff out, but with the exception of Adam's covers got all jacked up in the mail, so I had to. We've already got our order. They're sending us replacements for Adam Field's covers. But there's so much in the industry right now that you see, and you don't even realize you're seeing it. It's something like there's minuscule things, but they start coming together um, with things like, and the easiest one to use is 20th Century Fox and Dark Horse Comics. They're the easiest example to show people that are large enough for people to understand what's really happening when you put it in front of them. Because when 20th Century Fox has been putting out alien movies, they're the only guys to do it. They're the only ones in the game, right? Forever. Same thing with Dark Horse Comics and the Aliens comics. They did crossovers with DC, several crossovers with DC. What's going on, Steph? But now when you look at these things, you're going, holy shit, that company that just bought this, they didn't only get this, they got this, and then they got this, and then they got this. And I keep using the AVP example because it's very relevant right now. Right now, when you just saw the fact that the new Predator movie comes out next month, right? So a new Predator movie comes out. Not only are you getting a new Predator movie, you're getting a new Aliens movie. You're getting a new Aliens television show. You're getting 2 brand new Alien video games. Now, you've got an Alien comic book, which is great. I'm not going to say the story was great. It was okay. My thing as a fan was it was great because it didn't get shelved. You know what I mean? We still got some content. The novels are still being produced, which is awesome. But that was a cash grab. When you can go in and get, like when we would buy collections for the shop, right? We'd go in, and if I saw, like, I'll use an example. If I saw a comic book that I could flip for the entire box that I'm paying for, I would buy that whole box, even if I only needed the one book out of it. Because now I've got all this other stuff that I can move that came from this, that I've already paid for my purchase. Now I've got all this other stuff. Dude, I have upwards of 600 long boxes upstairs right now doing that. You know what I mean? If I came in and I saw, New Mutants '98 or whatever, I'd come in and I'd be like, hey, here's $200. I'll take everything you got. You know what I mean? I'll take everything in the box. You're selling everything for a quarter. Let me get it all for $200. Now it's cool. Now we've got the New Mutants, which we're going to sell for at the time for $200 to $400, depending on the grade at the time, and then we've got everything else in the box. Now it's all profit. You know what I mean? And that's how people do things when they go in to buy a company. They're going in and they're going, what IP can I use? What IP can I sell? What IP is going to make me the most money? And these cats come in and now they're like, if you think for a minute they didn't know what was up when they bought Fox, yeah, whatever, dude. I don't know what to tell you, because when you bought Fox, you got Alien, Predator, but you also did not only get the brands, you got fucking 40 years of comic books. 40 years of comic books. You know what I mean? From 2 different IPs. The only one they didn't get that's been back and forth is because licensing agreements and stuff with court cases is the Terminator stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if the mouse didn't get its hands on Terminator. I'm just
like
putting that out there.
Back in the 30s and 40s and stuff, even goes as far back as that German film Metropolis. I mean, they've been talking about, corporate entities, basically gathering like a black hole as much as they possibly can. I mean,
right.
And we're just talking because it's Comics Unbound and this is what we do.
Yep.
You can see the logic in it. Like, there's 40 years of IP. You've got your fan base. You've got you've got everything. You go and get that, and that if you put something out that is associated with that title, you're automatically going to get fans and people that will consume it, regardless of whether you agree with it being, part of the corporation or not. So I can see, how the business model works. What makes me sad is that despite the amount of money and globalization that a lot of these companies have, I guess there doesn't seem to be, to me, a lot of chances taken on new things. Like, let's go back to the 80s when I was a kid, who'd ever heard of Highlander? Who'd ever heard of RoboCop? Who'd ever heard of, varying, IPs that are now staples, and have had TV shows and stuff. But somewhere, who ever heard of Star Wars? And then, someone had to say, you know what, we'll have a crack at that. It seems to be a very safe way, you got shareholders, you've got to make their money back for them because they've invested. I mean, it's a big circle, really. It does make me sad that, when you see figures, like I was saying to Dustin just before the show, that I was down here drawing the other day, and I generally have headphones on listening to music or audiobooks, and I came across a Rob Liefeld, and I love that dude's enthusiasm. I'll say that. Man, that guy is he's like a sun worth of energy. And, he'd thrown out figures top selling comic books were 100,000 sales, units.
Right.
And that, with I guess what makes me sad is coming back to what Dustin was saying is comic books to me are the perfect medium: written word, artwork, sequential storytelling, beautiful covers, and not just that, but there's colorists, there's a whole, cycle of people that are involved in, the creation of a comic book. And they were a staple. They were something that was on the coffee table, or your aunt and uncle were buying comic books, or your dad was, that sort of thing.
I've thought about it.
Yeah, that's a good call, Steph.
It's a very interesting idea. So I'll give you an example. I went in, and for those of you guys that are listening or watching or whatever, that have been fans of ours for a while, you'll know that I've been working on a pilot. I've been working on a Babes Born Dinosaurs pilot for about 4.5, 5 months now, to pitch probably at the end of next year, if not the beginning of the following year. But I was trying to get the song Walk the Dinosaur. I was trying to get the rights to the song. So the dudes that put that song out haven't been around in forever. Don't mess with me, Steph Wilson. Don't mess with me with those purists. Don't mess with me. I will fuck around and make that shit happen. You better stop. Better stop, because I'm a big fan. I have every single one of them sitting upstairs. Mess with me. But there's a lot of different things that I've been looking into, and that goes hand in hand with the growth of our company. You know what I mean? Like right now, I was talking to Leigh earlier about the fact that we're soon to be 42 different people working for this publication company, and as we build and as we grow, the more and more facets of the industry open. You know what I mean? More and more things. Mess with me, Steph. I'm telling you, man. So, because I was a big fan. Like, I used to we had the bookmobile as a kid, right? Now you're going to put me on a harangue. We had the bookmobile, and it would come out to the fucking sticks, because that's where I live. It'd come out to the sticks, and it would come out once a month. And I would bust my ass to run that mile down the street at like 7 years old, because you could do that back then. Back then, it was safe to do things like that, you know. So I bust my little ass to run that
barefoot
mile.
across dirt, gravel, you know, like, I need that book.
I'm there every time the bookmobile would show up, and there, you know, I grab like my favorite one to this day. There's two of them that stick out from his stuff, and Demons Don't Dream is one of my favorites from him, and Stanley Steamer was my very favorite from him. And everybody's like, "Whoa, it's Stanley Steamer." Stanley Steamer was about about a giant dragon that got shrunk. So he was about the size of a 10-year-old child, but he couldn't blow fire. He could only blow steam. And the concept from that character came from a carpet cleaning company in the state of Florida called Stanley Steamer. Because Xanth is all based on the state of Florida. Really great stuff. One of these nights we need to talk novels, because I will novel the fuck out one of these nights. And that's where my writing comes from, guys. I've been reading books since holy shit. You know what I mean? So, and I try to read all the time. I posted on Facebook the other day. I've got like a stack of like 8 novels I'm behind on right now that I need to catch up on. You better quit barking at me. I'll eat you. But we've gotten this point now where we do have a lot going on with the company and with the future and things going on. So it's very hard for me to take a moment to myself anymore. But we just got a puppy too. Not that one, because she's crossy old thing. Love her to pieces. But we just got a 3-month-old puppy. So between my 3-year-old going on 4 tomorrow, and my 3-month-old puppy now, and my 11-year-old daughter going on 30, I have quite a busy household. So I'm trying to, Tennessee and Florida are very, very different. Don't fuck around and be silly. Tennessee and Florida are so very different. I know you lived in Florida stuff, but it's very, very different. Like up here, here I live on like the side of a mountain, and there's not a lot near me. We got a Walmart recently, which is cool, I guess. But it's not like Florida where everything was in your backyard. You know what I mean? It's very, very different.
I'm surprised you don't see your running back, Derek Henry, running up those mountains, mate. Like on a free day. Oh, come on, man. You're in Tennessee.
I don't know shit about football.
Well, that's terrible.
It is terrible. Like,
I'm in Australia, man. I'm in far north Queensland, and I know more about NFL than you do. What is going on?
I don't know shit about football. My dad's cousin actually played for the Jaguars years and years and years ago. So
when they were good.
Yeah. I know shit about football. I know jack shit. Tennessee
Sorry
is
to all the
Florida with
Jacksonville
rocks. Is that
Jaguar
right?
fans
Okay.
out there.
Well, whatever. I can't argue that because I don't know shit about it. I don't come off the mountain for anything other than going to music shows or to go to sign books.
Look, I can't say I blame you there, man. I wouldn't leave the mountain either if I was there.
I don't. I don't.
I don't like leaving the house, man.
You know. Nowadays,
Scary.
so Amazon. Funny thing is, Amazon's only like an hour and a half from the fucking house, right? Like the big Amazon. So it's like, if I need shit other than some groceries, I just order off Amazon Prime, bro. That stuff's here within a day most of the time. You know, I don't even mess around. I'm just like, oh, order that shit and be done with it. But Chuck got me on a fucking shenanigans. Fuck around. But yeah, there's so much going on that's really cool though, and just pay attention. That's all I'm saying. Paying attention to the things you're watching. Oh man, Steph, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy being here. You know, the next time we move, it'll probably be back to Hawaii when the next time we move, and that won't be another 15 years or so. But you know, as we watch these things and we watch these IPs that we grew up with and the things that we enjoy watching, it's very telling the direction that things are going. You know what I mean? What's going on, Ruben? How's it going? Ruben's a fucking superstar. Ruben's all over the comic industry right now, guys. Check that guy out when you get the opportunity. Look up Ruben Roses. Guy's on covers all over the place. Love his fucking shit. Great dude. But watch your favorite IPs and watch where they're going. I'm telling you this. Everybody talks shit about Avatar, right? They talk shit about Avatar. Avatar was the fucking remake of Fern Gully that the mouse wanted you to have. You know what I mean? They couldn't bring Fern Gully back because they didn't have Robin Williams. So they gave you Blue Aliens. I mean,
I have to say that out of all of the big blockbusters that are coming out, I'm quite interested to see how Avatar Part 2 goes, mate. Like,
I'm about it. I'm just.
I didn't mind Avatar. To me, it was like, and this is no shade on James Cameron. He's you know, like he's in another stratosphere. That dude.
Delete that comment because I'm already doing things. Delete that one. Delete that fucking comment.
But I have to say, man, Avatar at the time was pretty solid. Mind you, it's quite similar to Aliens, I do have to say.
Well, you know, you also had Sigourney Weaver that was part of it. You know what I mean? But there's a lot going on with things, like I mentioned. Watch where your favorite stuff is going as a child. I'm telling you that. Look at Watership Down. The new version of Watership Down that came out was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Did you ever see the original?
Yes, as a child.
Mate, in grade 3, so we're going back to, I'm showing my age here, we're going back to 1985. And we had a morning where the teacher would wheel in on one of those big steel stands with the box telly, you know, and stick it with the beta cord video player underneath, right?
Yep.
And chucked on Watership Down. And I haven't watched the new one because the original left such a mark on me as a kid that, like, even near 40 years later, I've only ever seen it when I was a kid. Mate, one of the greatest, like, cartoons / movies you'll ever see. Like,
absolutely. They really do it justice, though, dude. They really, like, and I think they made it like 10 hours. Like it's real long, but it's great.
The Secret of Nim was a good one too.
I was just about to bring that up because I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Quote me on this shit. We're gonna see a new one. Quote me on it all day, because look at what's going on right now. Okay, so when human beings are creatures of habit. Okay, they're creatures of habit. So when we got Ninja Turtles back in the day, okay, then we got Street Sharks. All right. We also got the transforming dinosaurs, which was called Dino Saucers, but it was dinosaurs that looked like they could do transformer type of shit. You know what I mean? Um, you also had what the fuck was the other one? Dinosaurs for Hire. Okay, Dinosaurs for Hire was incredible. I actually got that guy on my Facebook. I should probably talk to him because that's fucking awesome. But anyway, whatever. I have all kinds of people on my Facebook. I don't even know who the fuck they are. Well, I get added by artists and shit all the time, and I'm like, oh, I know that name, and then I'll fucking forget. You know what I mean? Because I'm working and shit, and I'll fucking forget. Anyway, so you had all these really cool, your Roger Rabbit stuff, your Chip and Dale, your Rescue Rangers, your what was the other one? Tailspin. All these things that we were putting out. I'm telling you, you're making a comeback. It's been about 20 something years. You're gonna start seeing all that shit come back. Okay. If you don't think I tried to get my hands on Street Sharks, you're silly. Because I made the attempt.
I'd put money down on you've tried to get your hands on any anthropomorphic
I tried to get
IP from your childhood.
I tried. Well, there's certain things from your childhood that stand out. Look at Bump in the Night. Yeah, if you haven't seen Bump in the Night, you really need to check it out. He keeps throwing that out there in the chat, like I don't know that he's doing that shit. Silly old Steph Wilson. So, and now I got it in my head that I need to fucking do this shit. So, anyway, Bump in the Night was actually a stop motion animation series about a little green fucking monster that lived under the bed. Does not look like Cade, is not the size of Cade, had nothing to do with Cade's creation, just so everybody knows. This guy, Biker Mice from Mars, absolutely, Ruben. And there was a Samurai Pizza Cats, and we could fucking go on and on. And what was it? Battletoads. We could go on that fucking tangent. But anyway, so Bumpy was this little dude. He was about this big, and he had like 2 long fucking eye stalks, and it was a lot of fun. But he had this little buddy that was made out of like toilet scum, right? And he was just his pal, and he had this little doll that was his friend too, and they'd hang out and they'd deal with monstrous bullshit at night and stuff. I'm telling you, we're gonna see that again. You know what I mean? Look at there's a dude. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Super really nice guy. He supports us a lot. He's working on Razor. If anybody remembers fucking Razor from the 90s, you know. I mean, word is somebody's working on Barbed Wire. I mean, like all this shit that we saw.
And what, Pamela Anderson's coming back as the grandma or something like
Good
that?
Lord,
there's always cameos, mate.
Her and Tito Ortiz need to just stay away from anything coming out. I mean, it's, the thing is like that doing things like that with those actors was just like Keanu Reeves, right? Keanu Reeves came out, and somebody tell me what the fucking name of that book was. What was the name of his
Berserker?
Berserker. Okay, right. So it comes out, right? It comes out, and they sell the fuck out of book 1. Now nobody can get rid of it. You can't give the goddamn book away. You know what I mean? Just because someone's an actor or a famous person doesn't mean you want to jump on a book. It's not great. You know what I mean? So again, that goes hand in hand with watching what we're creating. You've got oh my gosh, the Chippendale. Speaking of Chippendale, the Chippendale movie just came out, right? It's on fucking Disney Plus right now. It's pretty fucking funny. I don't want my kids watching it, because it's got a lot of humor that's way too old for them. But at the same time, it's the age group. And that's what I keep telling people about comic books. It's the age group. As you're watching these comics come out, buy from the folks that were in your age range, and you're probably really going to enjoy the content, because they were digging the same shit you were digging at the same fucking time you were digging the shit. You know what I mean? Like if you go, man, I love Spawn. If you find another guy into comics that's probably your age, he's probably gonna love Spawn too. You know, same thing with your X-Men and your Copper Age comics, your Silver Age comics. You're gonna find guys that were like, except there are exceptions. Like I got a buddy that only buys Golden Age comic books. You know what I mean? Like that chases Golden Age comic books. I can't get down with it. I tried. I did for a little bit. I was hunting Looney Tunes for like 6 months, and I was like, "Fuck all this. These books are so expensive that it's just ridiculous." And I can't even open them before I put them away because they're gonna turn to like dust. You know? But I shouldn't tease Golden Age. Golden Age are great books. You know, you got your Turok and stuff were some of the best books in Conan that came out of that time period. But again, pay attention to what's going on. You've already seen Conan come back. You've already seen him come back a couple times. Now you're also going to see Turok come. There's a new Turok video game that's supposed to be coming out. You know what I mean? They just re-released Turok in HD, you know, for one of the fucking systems. But you'll start seeing things, you know. You're starting to see Vampirella a lot again. Like a lot again. Lady Death. You're seeing a lot of Lady Death again. You know what I mean? It's that age group and time period that makes things so popular. You're going to start noticing, like Ninja Turtles has been hot forever, right? But more so in the past few years than it has in the past 30 years. You know? Oh, I fucking trust me on this. Try having a business meeting. Let me tell you about the shenanigans that goes on in the business meeting. Yeah, it's awesome. But they're really fucking funny though. So I'm about it. You know, the ones you really don't expect to pop off are the ones that pop off the loudest in those things. I promise, and it's really funny for the most part.
One IP that has always surprised me, because you and I have spoken about this, but it never. You know, with movies like, you know, The Lord of the Rings, and I mean, even now on Prime with, you know, Rings of Power, and they had The Wheel of Time, and, you know, fantasy, they're trying to find, you know, The Witcher, they're pushing those fantasy boundaries, which is fucking great. I can't believe that no one has ever had a crack at Dragonlance. Because I have to say that I don't know what the thing is there, but those, like, I remember being a kid, and I grew up in a very religious family, I might add. So this was, I remember this, midnight mass. You know, you go at midnight, you know, not 11 or 10, but you go to bed, bang, bang, you know, like 12 o'clock, you know, blah, blah. And I decided to get out of it one night because I got, for Christmas, Dragonlance. Now, was it Dragons of Autumn Twilight? I think possibly the first novel.
All of them upstairs.
Man, absolutely. My mum and dad left me at home that night. I would have been about 9 or 10 because, like, I started this book at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and man, and that was like my first all-nighter, mate. Like, I hammered that book. Like, I can't believe they've never made a film of that. Like, that would be a great movie.
Margaret Wise just put out a new one.
Yeah, right.
She literally just released a new one.
Because that wizard that's in it, what was his name? Rasslin.
Yeah, Raistlin Magier, Cameron Magier, Tanis Half-Elven.
Great characters.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why she's got fucking 20 novels back there. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's a bunch of IPs I'd like to fool with. The thing about it is, a lot of times it's finding the IP, who owns it. You know what I mean? Getting a hold of them. The sad thing is, a lot of these people are dead. You know what I mean? So it's like getting a hold of these people to come out and bust something out with, and then does it fit your brand? You know what I mean? Does it fit the brand? You know, Steph was talking about Beastmaster, and Trevor and I were literally just talking about fooling around with Penny and throwing her in a Beastmaster movie and really making it wonky. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of cool stuff to see, a lot of cool books to pick up right now. Especially with us, with Theater 7, it has cemented we're already into the book a month thing. We're already there. That's not even it's not even an argument, and that's a thing of the past now because we're doing it. So, but when you get into like next year, we'll be doing 2 books a month, and that's a very planning for that has been interesting. So yeah, I've been bolstering our IPs to prepare for that type of release schedule. You got to make sure you have, if you're going to tell people that you're going to release 2 books a month, you have to have the IPs to do it and the teams to do it. I can't very well be like, hey, Bladen, I need If It Hops to drop the month right after BGD. It's just not even feasible. You know what I mean? For him to knock out 30 more pages for another IP in a month. It just.
There's a lot of logistics to it, mate. It's not just here's an idea, throw it out there.
The cost, the time. How many people are involved? If you look at Theater 7 right now, there are like 26 covers for Theater 7. 26 covers. Which we normally only do that for issue 1s. We normally don't drop fucking that many covers for issues going forward. But we're really, really excited about it. I think Penny's story would make a great movie. That should be fucking awesome. But we're working on a lot of things. We're going to see a bunch of new stuff shortly. I think that you guys are going to start seeing more and more stuff. I'm having to, like right now, I normally have to rein myself in, but right now it's dumb. Like I have to rein myself in so hard with everything going on right now because I just want to be like, hey, did you see this? Did you know this awesome stuff was coming out? We just hired this guy, and it's like, slow down.
You got to let it out, mate, or you'll spontaneously combust.
Oh, I'm gonna combust anyway. There's too much energy. There's so much going on. Like there's so many stories. I feel like if I lay my head down, characters just like start walking out of my fucking ears.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ah. Well, I mean, so we've talked about the Bounty Hunter book before, and that's coming out probably this year. And I didn't think that was going to happen, but we're probably going to release the first issue this year. Not only does the Bounty Hunter book coming out, now we've got. This will be the first time I say this. I may not say it. I get in trouble. We have another one coming out that's going to be awesome. And I want to tell you about it, but I can't. But there's a lot going on that you guys can get excited about, and like I said, Lee's got a bajillion fucking cool things coming on. I know that he's going to talk our buddy Ryan Vela into doing some cool stuff. They're talking about doing some short story cool stuff. So I'm ready to see some shit. I will definitely pay that extra shipping to get some shit out of Australia to see some, Chalker Vela awesome. I'm ready for that. But I don't know, guys. I think there's
well, it's happening. It's slowly happening. I love me mate Vela. The man's a fucking talent, and no doubt about that.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. There's so much, like I said, so much to see and so much to experience in the indie community that it's like, here we are. You know what I mean? Enjoy the journey, right?
Absolutely.
Find your indie stories. And the cool thing about that is you don't have to search to find 100 issues that you missed out on. You know what I mean? You can go or like us, you can go order from our website any books you've missed. And I don't know. I just want to be. I enjoy being on the journey with our fans. Like I really enjoy that. I think it's a lot of fun. To be there with the team as we introduce a character. There are times we have conversation about characters that people are, like, holy shit, are you really going to do that? And I'm like, maybe I won't. And then they're like, you need to fucking do it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, right on, let's go. But we are running in on that mark, guys. My poor dog back there. I know she's got to pee. She probably had to pee for the past hour almost. So we are going to cut it tonight. Thank you so much for hanging with Leigh and I. His majestic beard is coming back. I just trimmed mine in solidarity with him, to try to, make sure that we're in sync and all. Or
Yeah.
No, it's over here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you'll always beat me on the top of the head part, mate. So it's like,
oh man, I don't know. I'm getting so much gray, man, that I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, well, salt and pepper, man. Salt and pepper.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It comes. It comes with comes with age, mate. Like fine wine, mate.
Yeah. I wish it was not as much knowledge as it was just stress that makes it
Yeah.
They all make these wizards and shit in fantasy look all like intelligent and shit, and they're all gray the fuck out. Me, I'm going, oh my god, what is going on there?
Yeah.
Gray.
Yeah. They pop up overnight, these suckers, man. I tell you.
Gosh.
I know.
I had Heather pluck one on one. I didn't even know she was going to do it. We were walking down the sidewalk the other day, and I guess I had the short one for some reason. I guess it got pulled out when I was brushing my hair. But she just reaches over and plucks this fucking hair out of my head, and I was like, ah! And it's like this long, right? And it's fucking gray as gray gets. Goddamn silverback over here, and so whatever. But
well, I'd just like to say before we go on that note, like for everyone that's watching or listens in the future and stuff, go and check out comic books, go and check out all the independent stuff, check out Ethereal, check out everyone. There's artists, there's people everywhere doing their things. Pick up a book, stick your hand into the well, pull something out, check it out, talk to people. If you're, don't give up on your confidence. And if it's a compulsion to do this stuff, then keep going. Don't let little hiccups stop you, and just keep plying your trade, learn any way you can, pick up lessons from talking to people, do what you can. And I look forward to seeing new people and new artists and new writers, and, the industries in, not just that, but there's collectors, there's, people that do comic book conventions and set it up. I mean, there's a whole myriad of things. So, editors, colorists, the whole lot. So go and support comic books because, I love comic books, man, and that's my thing. So
real talk right there, straight from
that's
the
right.
mouth. It's funny. I don't even know what the fuck I was going to say. So have a great night, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you shortly. Be good.